But for me, AUB was a distant dream, and the scholarship at AUB sounded even more difficult to attain. But I dared to take the leap. I dared to apply and I made it to AUB. I remember that day, the happiest day of my life. I was running between tables at my family's local restaurant, trying to respond to the many demands of our clients when my father called me.
هيدي كانت ب 14 آب 2012. كنا هون عم نشتغل نهار عمل مثل العادة. دق التليفون كان مخصص للحجوزات ومحطوط بهالشجرة على العالي لأنه ما كان في إرسال عنا إلا بهالشجرة. دق التليفون، اتفاجأت إنه معي حدا من اليو اس ايد وعم بيطلب يوسف تيبارك له انه ربح المنحه، طلع له منحه.
I did not have to worry anymore about part-time jobs to cover my expenses. I was not only granted quality education in construction engineering, but also housing, health insurance, a laptop and book allowance, a monthly stipend, 2 internships in leading companies in the region, social experiences, and much more that I cannot weigh. My journey at AUB and the love of its diverse community made me feel more responsible. In 2014, I was the Volunteer of the Year. That same year, I participated in the Engineering Society volunteer camp. Last year, I contributed to rehabilitating a major water network in Jezzine. Also in 2015, I became the Cambridge Tabadul Program Ambassador at AUB. When I graduated, the only option I had was a job offer in Kuwait. But this was not what I dreamed for, so I declined the offer, and with strong determination, in less than 4 months, I launched the Murad Group company in Psharri, and I'm currently leading 6 projects under construction. My next endeavor in 20 years would be initiating an aviation school to help young dreamers explore the sky. Whether you become a pilot or a construction engineer, the lesson is one. Use your wings and fly. Whether you find yourself in an aviation school or an engineering startup, the morale is one. Learn and give back. Learn to advance and give to help others advance.
So it's wonderful to have the next generation of AUB students here today with us. Look after our green environment and help make a beautiful green city again. We're going to plant this tree, just like you all plant trees. You see, oh, now you're going to see us shovel, physically shovel as opposed to metaphysically shovel, which is what we mostly do.
أنا كنت بسوريا ماني مسجل بمدرسة لأنه كنت صغير. لما أنا أجيت لهون سجلت بمدرستين بس ما حبيتهم أكثر من هاي المدرسة. هاي المدرسة حبيتها أكثر شيء لأنها كثير فظيعة.
Established in 2008, the Center for Civic Engagement and Community Service mobilizes resources on campus and works closely with decision makers and stakeholders to provide opportunities to AUB students, faculty, and staff in order to respond and address some of the most pressing challenges we are facing, and to bridge the theory and practice divide by developing knowledge that is derived from the complex landscapes. The center's operations are categorized under 4 key cross-cutting tenets. The first one is volunteering and outreach. The second one is community development projects. The third one is supporting service learning. And the final one is education for transformative leadership under the scholarship programs. This project is called the Ghata Project, bringing education to refugees in the informal tented settlements. The project was initiated in October 2012, where AUB launched the Syria Relief Project.
To do this pilot study in the Gata project, to look at the impact of this restorative built environment on number one, the level of the stress of the kids. We assume that the project, our hypothesis is that the Gata project reduces depression in the kids, reduces the stress, reduces anxiety, increases knowledge obtainment and education, and also probably, hopefully, have some impact on the family as well in a positive way, you know.
Vocational training centers are funded by Malala Foundation, supporting girls from age of 16 to 25.
بالأكاديمية بنعلم ماث وساينس، مستقبلاً حيكون عندنا فيزيكس وكيمستري، بنعلم كمان لغة عربية ولغة إنجليزية. بنعلم بالمهني كمان 4 مواد، بنعطي تزيين وخياطة سوينج، وبنعطي تمريض، وبنعطي كمبيوتر.
Such opportunities that the center is giving me to practice diplomacy, especially in relation to sustainable development goals, are preparing me for the time I return to Syria and help rebuilding my country.
I've been able to share my knowledge in engineering through advising AUB students in community projects and even teaching young women refugees in the Bekaa.
صار عمري 5 صار ما بدي أقعد في الدار، ماما بابا وديني مدرسة فيها برسم فيها بحقق أحلامي.
بسبب هالبركة تنوعت المزروعات، صار اللي زارع درة، اللي زارع قوافة، اللي زارع مشمش، يعني بتعتبريها بساتين، كل مروحين مستفيدة منها. اللي بده للعمار عم ياخذ منها، اللي بده للزرع عم ياخذ منها، الشجرية اللي زرعوها عم ياخذ منها.
أولاً صار في أشجار مثمرة، عدد لا يستهان فيه أكثر من 50 ل 100 دونم، زراعات جديدة هي فواكه والجاص لخوخ لدراء لمشمش. زيادة عن هيدا في كمان كمية كبيرة من الخيام البلاستيكية اللي بتعتمد على الري بالتنقيط.
And one of the strengths that the reviewers saw by observing several
of the final year project, they picked Marwahin, another one, mainly Marwahin, and they noticed the community component, and they noted it in their report that the main strengths of our program is in our final year project, and specifically on the projects which had to do with civic engagement with the center.
On our way back from Marwahin, we decided to purchase the land in order to transfer it into a training center whereby the farmers over there can shift from planting tobaccos into planting different kinds of agriculture.
The center will serve as a multifunctional and centralized hub for local farmers to gain expertise and techniques, as well as supplies and products needed for sustainable agriculture.
فبعد الانتخابات كنا عم ندرس موضوع شو ممكن ينعمل مشاريع، وبهالوقت اللي نحن عم نفكر فيه بيجوا طلاب الجامعة الأمريكية ببيروت، ومن ضمنهم الطالب عمر طنطاوي اللي هو من بلدة عيدمون، وبيطرحوا علينا موضوع الفرز النفايات من المنزل، وإنه هن مستعدين بدعم من الجامعة يجيبوا البنز اللي هن بيأمنوا كيفية فرز النفايات من المنزل، وبنرجع بعدين نحن كبلدية بنأمن المكان اللي بده يصير فيه فرز المواد اللي بنعمل لها تدوير لبلاستيك وحديد ومعادن وكرتون وإزاز.
We're expecting that our project, which is a pioneering project in the region, to help our community enjoy healthier environment and live better life.
The language exchange program started in 2014. Basically, it aims to provide opportunity for AUB international students who are interested in practicing and enhancing their Arabic skills and at the same time giving back to the community.
I learned about it in the introduction week at the, we have this introduction week for visiting students, and a girl from Civic Engagement came and told about it.
The projects that are presented in this movie have been developed and implemented in a participatory approach that begins by securing consensus on a central theme and develops by incorporating local knowledge and ensuring the support of stakeholders. Students actively engaged in these projects grow a deep-seated commitment and moral obligation, leading them to push the boundaries of civic engagement outside academia. Throughout witnessing the powerful impact of students acting as agents of change, I believe that civic engagement in higher education is imperative for reshaping and developing a region that has for decades been situated on the axis of crisis.
Lebanon, a country rich in solar energy and willpower. In 2016, AUB students set out to serve their community.
Light Up a Village started as an idea, and then it got developed. We started looking for supporters, financial supporters. We started contacting companies and NGOs who would be interested in our initiative.
Al-Majdal receives 4 to 6 hours of electricity during the day, and it hardly was receiving any electricity through street lights at night. So through our project, we were giving them 12 hours straight of electricity, and it was solar powered, so it's renewable.
The 10 solar kits are given to 10 underprivileged families in the village who have minimal access to electricity.
برمنا نحن والمهندس تبع UNDP ونقينا الأماكن اللي بتوصل الإنارة تبع الطاقة الشمسية، يعني لحتى تغذيها للطاقة الشمسية إنه محل يكون في شمس.
هلا أنا بعمل الكوردينيشن، بيجينا تمويل للمشروع ونحن بنحاول نحطه بالأماكن المحتاجة، لأنه بتعرفوا لبنان في كثير، يعني اللبنانية في كثير بحاجة، وخاصة هلا في ضغط الأزمة السورية على المجتمع اللبناني اللي هو من أصل في شرائح بالمجتمع ضعيفة وبحاجة، فهلا صار ضغط علي أكثر خاصة فقراء اللبنانيين.
AUB in general takes initiatives to take on projects that have never been done before. And through a student-led initiative like this, we are trying to set the path for other universities to follow us.
So finally, we were able to shed light on these families and actually make Lebanon brighter.
Education changes people. Education changes communities. Education is the key for any society to prosper. In a world full of threats and challenges, we must prepare the next generation to lead with courage and with compassion, to innovate with curiosity and creativity, and to serve through inspiration and aspiration. 150 years of transformative education. Our aim is nothing less than leading the region in modeling a fair and just society. AUB holds the key to peace, prosperity, and a life more abundant for Lebanon, the Arab world, and beyond. We have made history. Now we must make the future, but we cannot do it alone. Join AUB as we step boldly into the future. Partner with us as we start solving tomorrow's problems today. Boldly AUB, a campaign to lead, to innovate, and to serve.
Welcome to AUB, the American University of Beirut. Overlooking the Mediterranean Sea, this university is the oldest and most prestigious in the Middle East, standing tall for over 150 years. AUB started with only 16 students in 1866 and is now home to more than 9,000 students. AUB degrees are registered with the New York State Education Department and the Lebanese Ministry of Higher Education, and the university is accredited by the Middle States Commission on Higher Education. Currently, 62,000 alumni reside in approximately 115 countries around the world. They are making a difference every day, leading in a variety of positions across many fields. You have the chance to be one of them. What are you waiting for? AUB's lush green campus is located in the heart of Beirut, with a breathtaking view of the sea and surrounding mountains. A total of 64 buildings are the perfect medley of classic, modern, and postmodern, some dating back to the 19th century. They include 7 dormitories, 5 faculty buildings, a medical center, 4 main libraries, 3 museums, an athletics field and a gymnasium, a private beach, and state-of-the-art teaching and research facilities. There are 6 faculties and schools at AUB, offering a wide range of majors to meet the ambitions of the younger generation and the demands of the job market. AUB students get to enjoy exciting years of rewarding education in addition to a rich campus life. AUB offers around 50% of its student body financial assistance in the form of grants, graduate assistantships, and financial aid, covering up to 65% of tuition fees. A loan component and work-study program are also available. AUB is known for its campus spirit, where students have always played an active role in university life. West Hall is AUB's hub for student activities. It houses student clubs, lecture halls, auditoriums, and conference facilities. We provide students with a number of opportunities for self-expression and fulfillment through a variety of co-curricular activities on campus, such as clubs, societies, and student-led publications such as Outlook, the independent weekly newspaper, and the yearbook. Student government and annual elections embody democracy, fair representation, and free speech, virtues AUB proudly stands for. Students organize several annual events which are open to the public, such as the Folk Dance Festival and AUB Outdoors, one of the biggest events in the country, welcoming more than 20,000 guests each year. AUB is home to approximately 2,000 international students from 85 different countries. AUB is the first and still one of the few universities in the Middle East offering on-campus housing. At AUB, you can be part of our study abroad program and spend up to a year studying at any affiliated university across the globe. The Counseling Center assists students in achieving their educational goals and supports students with learning difficulties or personal problems interfering with their academic performance in a professional and confidential atmosphere. AUB's modern sports facility, the Charles Hostler Student Center, is a venue for international, national, and varsity sports tournaments. It includes basketball, volleyball, tennis, and squash courts, as well as a 450-meter athletics track and an indoor Olympic-sized swimming pool. Its gymnasium is equipped with the latest athletic machinery. During the summer season, the AUB beach is open for students to enjoy sunbathing or a swim in the sea. Now that you know more about us, we look forward to getting to know you and how you can contribute to the AUB spirit. For any further information, please do not hesitate to contact us. Here are the details. We look forward to having you amongst us at AUB.
Advance and never halt, for advancing is perfection. Advance and do not fear the thorns on the path, for they draw only corrupt blood. I come from a small village in Psharri, the home of the remaining original Cedars and the birthplace of Gibran Khalil Gibran. Raised with a loving family and rooted in nature, the sky was my passion when I was a child. I wanted to become a pilot, to explore the sky and the world, and then bring it back with me to my small village Haras al-Jubbi. Seeking for better education during my high school years, I had to leave my village in 2009 to live with my grandmother in Beirut. I grew more independent and more ambitious. When I graduated from Jaidat al-Matan Public High School, majoring in mechanical engineering in the Lebanese University was the only affordable path for me to follow the sky. I thought that with some part-time jobs, I could cover my living expenses. At school, they were talking about the USP scholarships at AUB. But for me, AUB was a distant dream, and the scholarship at AUB sounded even more difficult to attain. But I dared to take the leap. I dared to apply and I made it to AUB. I remember that day, the happiest day of my life. I was running between tables at my family's local restaurant, trying to respond to the many demands of our clients when my father called me.
هيدي كانت ب 14 آب 2012. كنا هون عم نشتغل نهار عمل مثل العادة. دق التليفون كان مخصص للحجوزات ومحطوط بهالشجرة على العالي، لأنه ما كان في إرسال عنا إلا بهالشجرة. دق التليفون، اتفاجأت إنه معي حدا من الUSAID وعم بيطلب يوسف تيبارك له إنه ربح المنحة، طلع له منحة.
I did not have to worry anymore about part-time jobs to cover my expenses. I was not only granted quality education in construction engineering, but also housing, health insurance, a laptop and book allowance, a monthly stipend, 2 internships in leading companies in the region, social experiences, and much more that I cannot weigh. My journey at AUB and the love of its diverse community made me feel more responsible. In 2014, I was the Volunteer of the Year. That same year, I participated in the Engineering Society volunteer camp. Last year, I contributed to rehabilitating a major water network in Jezzine. Also in 2015, I became the Cambridge Tabadul Program Ambassador at AUB. When I graduated, the only option I had was a job offer in Kuwait. But this was not what I dreamed for, so I declined the offer, and with strong determination, in less than 4 months, I launched the Murad Group company in Psharri, and I'm currently leading 6 projects under construction. My next endeavor in 20 years would be initiating an aviation school to help young dreamers explore the sky. Whether you become a pilot or a construction engineer, the lesson is one. Use your wings and fly. Whether you find yourself in an aviation school or an engineering startup, the morale is one. Learn and give back. Learn to advance and give to help others advance.
هنشوف أقدم شجرة بالجامعة، شجرة شو؟
So it's wonderful to have the next generation of AUB students here today with us, look after our green environment and help make Beirut a beautiful green city again. We're going to plant this tree, just like you've all planted trees. The COO and I are going to see us shovel, physically shovel as opposed to metaphysically shovel, which is what we mostly do.
كنت بسوريا ماني مسجل بمدرسة لأنه كنت صغير. لما أنا أجيت لهون سجلت بمدرستين بس ما حبيتهم أكثر من هاي المدرسة. هاي المدرسة حبيتها أكثر شيء لأنها كثير فظيعة.
Established in 2008, the Center for Civic Engagement and Community Service mobilizes resources on campus and works closely with decision makers and stakeholders to provide opportunities to AUB students, faculty,
Excellencies, honored guests, alumni, members of the faculty and staff, candidates for degrees, friends, President Fadlu Khouri, I declare that this 148th commencement of the American University of Beirut to be now assembled and in session for the purpose of the day. I also proclaim open the 15th ceremony since 1969 for the awarding of honorary doctorates at the American University of Beirut. By conferring degrees on these outstanding individuals, AUB reaffirms the institutional values that have been the foundation of its excellence and of its renown.
Good evening. Your Excellencies, esteemed Board of Trustees, parents, families, and friends of our outstanding graduating students, our splendid faculty and staff, congratulations. Congratulations on seeing your efforts pay off with yet another superb class, the AUB Class of 2017. Our magnificent students, it is an honor to greet you tonight, years after you first entered the gates of this university, to wish you the best on this new journey awaiting you ahead. أصحاب المعالي والسعادة والسيادة، ضيوفنا الكرام، حضرات أعضاء مجلس الأمناء الأجلاء، أهالي، عائلات، وأصدقاء متخرجين المبدعين، أعضاء الهيئة التعليمية والإدارية الرائعين، أهنئكم على تخريج نخبة جديدة من هذه الجامعة العريقة. طلابنا المميزين، إنه لشرف لي أن أرحب بكم اليوم بعد سنوات على دخولكم الجامعة، لأتمنى لكم مزيداً من النجاح في رحلتكم المستقبلية، ورمضان كريم. Experience is not what happens to you, but what you do with what happens to you, said Aldous Huxley. Your journey at AUB has been full of rich and powerful experiences. You entered the gates of this university coming from various streams of the country, of the Arab world, and of the larger regions. You left your parents' nest to be embraced in this great font of struggle, of knowledge, and of enlightenment, a place committed to inclusivity and diversity and unequivocally to excellence. You've come a long way to be here tonight, and you have shaped and tailored your personalities through experiences interacting with your fellows, engaging with your professors, and serving in various clubs, organizations, and yes, producing publications. You have grown through that knowledge that you have acquired in both your area of major and in additional coursework. Today, however, you are ready to take a great leap into the unknown, into a world that is both frightening and exciting. When these moments become overwhelming, remember that it is these very trials and challenges that you have been through here that have helped expand your knowledge, broaden your thoughts, and helped you to define your character. We hope that you have found and achieved that which excites you in your years at this university. Personally, I hope that you have taken this opportunity to start to explore all that you will one day be. We all struggle to find meaning, but it is this very struggle that makes us human. It is inevitably part of this meaning. After all, we are all flawed creatures, and our struggles for meaning begin in the very early stages of our lives. It's part of our human nature to struggle, and we must embrace it by acknowledging its presence, its primacy, by understanding it, and by constantly trying to overcome those struggles. Character is built in the course of your inner confrontations. Character is a set of dispositions, desires, and habits that are slowly engraved during the struggle against your own weakness. You become more disciplined, considerate, and loving through small acts of self-control, sharing, service, friendship, and refined enjoyment, wrote David Brooks in his best-selling book, The Road to Character. Every human starts their life with vulnerability and puts in a lifetime of effort to overcome it while following their dreams, following their ambitions. Follow your dreams, not solely looking inward into yourself, but look around you. Look at your community. Understand what is lacking towards establishing real and enduring social justice. Human transformations, unfortunately, do not come clear and curated. You will be offered opportunities in your careers that will make you think twice, and you will engage yourself in long, deliberate thought about seizing the many, many humanitarian opportunities to impact the lives of those less fortunate. A whole character is embedded in a community, and the wealth of that character depends ultimately on the health of the community. And so it is incumbent upon all of us to be engaged, involved, and doing the very best we can to help others. It is in these very moments of doubt that a person often finds their real purpose and their vocation. Naturally, you will be hesitant before you first take steps that push you out of your comfort zone. But these are the most important decisions that can be preceded by moments of self-reflection. In these moments, allow yourselves to weigh your options and seize first those options that benefit you and the larger community equally. 2.5 years ago, I myself was first offered the chance to lead this historic institution. I reflected carefully on this opportunity to completely change gears, as many of you are doing now. It was unquestionably for us a moment of great doubt, but it is precisely in those moments of doubt that we find our true north. It's important that you genuinely challenge yourself, determine your personal mission, and fulfill it, always keeping an eye on the community you serve and understanding how your own skills can best create a lasting and meaningful impact. All of you, our students graduating tonight, have a limitless drive to change the world, to conquer the globe, and achieve all that you aspire to be. My advice is to avoid being overly competitive with others. Don't allow yourself to be defined solely by external distinction and validation. All of you are gifted. That's why you are here. And personal achievements cannot long bring you satisfaction or inner peace, but rather instant disruptive moments of pride and perhaps the illusion of happiness. It is, however, the service of others that can make you whole and will allow you to lead an inwardly peaceful and fulfilling life. So every time you're faced by genuine doubt, recognize that the power to effect meaningful change resides in precisely these defining moments, and that it is in your hands, yours and no one else's, to take a decision that could forever alter the course of your life and the lives of others. But that decision could well place you in a position where your service will most benefit people other than you, but those around you. In this decision-making process, reflect on Kant's 3 different but equivalent formulations of the universal moral law. First, act only according to that maxim whereby you can at the same time will that it should become a universal law. Second, act in such a way that you treat humanity, whether in your own person or in the person of any other, never merely as a means to an end. Let me repeat, never merely as a means to an end, but always at the same time as an end. And the third practical principle follows logically as the ultimate condition of their harmony with practical reason, the idea of the will of every human being as a universally legislating will. Throughout the course of my own life, I've learned that one can serve their fellow man through unanticipated avenues. You're graduating from a university whose founding father, the great Dr. Daniel Bliss, said in words that still resonate to this day, "We were not anxious to appear great, but we were anxious to lay foundations upon which greatness could be built. These are the foundations upon which your own greatness will be built." The epitome of service is the surrender of entitlement to do good for those in greater need. With Lebanon ever precarious, with a war-torn Arab world, with the largest and most painful humanitarian crisis happening right at our very door, it is you, our graduates, who are looked to as beacons of hope, hope for a better tomorrow. You are the bringers of change, the salvers of wounds, the providers of hope, and the caregivers for communities. All of this can be achieved only through real doubt and introspection, through service and sacrifice, by application, by the acquisition of knowledge. Doubt, after all, is what allowed the great Bob Dylan to pen the magical words from my back pages. A self-ordained professor's tongue, too serious to fool, spouted out that liberty is just equality in school. Equality, I spoke the word as if a wedding vow, but I was so much older then. I'm younger than that now. Munah Harawi had to face doubt to help children with thalassemia. Doubt helped Ahdaf Swaif put herself in the minds of those suffering through the ultimate existential agony of al-Nakba. Doubt is what Simon Shaheen feels every time he composes a musical oeuvre. And doubt is what Huda Ail studies the biology of complex human emotions that she strives to understand. For all four of our distinguished honorands gathered with us tonight, doubt became the bridge to empathy and ultimately to effective service to community. Service and empathy that in every case has been utilized and focused to alleviate the suffering of those less fortunate. And once that empathy is focused, and as you will see in these cases translated to good, and that service is rendered well, and it is time to move on, don't look back in anger or in pride, but rather recognize, as Secretary of State and Nobel Prize winner George Marshall, the man most responsible for the reconstruction of Europe after World War II, once said, "When a thing is done, it's done. Don't look back. Look forward to your next objective." That ability to look forward and not look back is a quality that embodied our own late, much mourned trustee, Maroon Sam'an, who believed deeply in the power of philanthropy, as his daughter Noor so memorably stated this last January when she said, and I quote, "He always wondered how someone with means could rest his head on his pillow while a neighbor of his, near or far, was unable to make ends meet." Both Marshall and Sam'an embraced the concept of servant leadership. Today, we miss our dear friend, alumnus trustee, and philanthropist Maroon Sam'an, whom we all lost last month, becoming the second trustee in the last 100-year history of the university to die while serving the university as an active trustee. Today, we celebrate his deeply meaningful life through the distribution of the very first degrees in engineering and architecture under the faculty bearing his name, the Maroon Sam'an Faculty of Engineering and Architecture. Thank you. I ask you all to join me in observing a moment of silence in his memory. Please stand. Thank you. Today, you graduate more confident, more capable, equipped with the faith, skills, knowledge necessary to change the world for the better. You have learned much at AUB. You have learned resilience and perseverance. And today, on behalf of everyone gathered here, I'm here to say, on behalf of the administration, the board, the faculty, the staff, the parents, and the community, we are all proud of you. You have emerged stronger and wiser with your views, whatever they might have been when you entered here, sharpened and tested, but you have a lifetime of learning still ahead of you. Please look back at your parents and loved ones gathered here today and those who could not be here with us. They have believed in you, nurtured you, and deserve your thanks. Go out now into the wider world and don't be daunted by doubt, but rather embrace it. There is much exciting knowledge to acquire through endurance and stamina. Look around at your classmates and then go forth into this world with purpose and with humility. As the great poet Abu Nawas said, فَقُلْ لِمَنْ يَدَّعِي فِي الْعِلْمِ فَلْسَفَةً حَفِظْتَ شَيْئًا وَغَابَتْ عَنْكَ أَشْيَاءُ. Congratulations to you, graduates of 2017. Please know that at AUB, you will always have a home. You can find solace on your campus, watching, looking out to the beautiful Mediterranean, anytime your vision is obscured by doubt and distress, by paradox or by pain. Come back to your campus whenever you can, whenever you need a renewed sense of purpose. Today, I and everyone on the stage and your parents have hope more than ever that it is you who will remold and reshape Lebanon, the Arab world, and beyond. You will best serve our wounded populations, and you will create opportunities that they, like you, may have life and have it more abundantly. Congratulations to you, AUB Class of 2017. Go forth and change the world for the better, as all of us assembled here, but most importantly, as you yourself now know you can. Thank you. Some thick pages here. It's my great pleasure now to introduce our graduate student speaker for the commencement. Our graduate student speaker for this year is Marilyn Exarkova. Marilyn has been a member of the AUB community for 5 years. She has studied and excelled in her undergraduate and graduate studies in English literature, not to mention her role in career and placement services as one of Dr. Ghandour's most indispensable research assistants. Additionally, Marilyn is an English analyst in an esteemed multinational educational institution. What's perhaps most distinctive about Marilyn is the fact that she represents a majority of you as students. She, like many of you, has had to work different jobs in these trying times alongside her study. Like many of you, she has struggled and worked hard to maintain a high GPA while working at AUB and elsewhere. And like many of you, she is hardworking, humble, perseverant, and dedicated to take the lessons that AUB has taught her and to put them to good use in our unusual world of today. Marilyn has emerged as an inspiring and high-achieving role model of an AUB citizen, which is why we chose her to speak today. Marilyn, could you please join us on the stage?
Oh, Sorry. Thank you. Dear trustees, President Khouri, deans, faculty members, parents, and distinguished guests. It is my honor and privilege to stand amongst you in celebration of the graduate class of 2017. Woo! Before I say anything else, I want to say thank you. Thank you to my parents and my amazing fiancé. I would not be standing here today if you had not loved, supported, encouraged me, and in some cases, ate my homework or caused me serious injuries so that I could stay home and rest. I'm of course talking about my sister. Thanks, sis. A special thank you goes to Dr. Fadlo Khouri, President of AUB, who continues to work tirelessly to better this place we love and call our second home. To Dr. Talal Nizamuddin, Dean of Student Affairs, who is always there for us. And to Dr. Mariam Ghandour, whose leadership of the Career and Placement Services has helped hundreds of students over the years, and whose personal support to me I will never forget. Tonight, during these few minutes that I have your attention, and with these few words I have to say, I hope to achieve at least one thing. To make you appreciate just how far you've come. I hope that by the end, you will be able to value this moment in your lives, because you will never again be where you are now. The biggest question we all have is, what if? What if we don't end up where we want in life, or achieve all of our goals, or succeed in our professional and personal lives? What if this is as good as it gets? Unfortunately, I can't answer these questions. I ask them myself every day. I simply don't know. In fact, no one knows. So, instead of dwelling on what we don't know, which is infinite, I would like to share with you two absolutely certain things that AUB, the one constant in our lives so far, has taught me. The first is that people will always surprise you. And given the choice between good and bad, most will choose to do good. I understand that this is hard to see in our world today, what with global warming, wars, and social injustice. But if you just look at some of the clubs here at AUB and the vibrant student life in general, of which I'm sure many of you were part of, and what they do in terms of helping the various communities in our country, lectures and workshops to raise awareness of a certain issue, scientific inventions, entertainment, music, sports, or creative solutions to everyday problems, you will find that there is goodness in everyone. Sometimes this goodness is overshadowed by difficult circumstances, but it never disappears, and it always shines through when it is needed the most. The second is that there is always a choice. No matter what you face or how much you feel the doors closing in on you, you always, always have a choice. You all chose to continue your education. You chose to study here at AUB, and you chose to work hard when you were tired, and through everything to persevere. It is because of your choices that you are here tonight. To make a choice takes courage, but it also entails a responsibility. Each choice has certain repercussions. For instance, on December 1st, 1955, Rosa Parks, a 42-year-old African-American woman, refused to give up her seat to a white passenger on the Montgomery City bus. This seemingly simple act ignited a boycott and forced the city to repeal its law enforcing racial segregation on public transport. Ms. Parks' choice was pivotal in the civil rights movement in the United States, and to this day, her act stands as one of the most defying in history. A choice that seemed to pertain only to one woman influenced an entire generation and changed history as we know it. Your choices matter, and it is up to each one of you as individuals to take the initiative and have the courage to make responsible choices. I would like to end by asking you to look back on all of the hard work, late nights, and challenges you have overcome to be where you are now, and to take a minute to appreciate yourselves. Each one of you has overcome innumerable obstacles, defied naysayers, and made yourself and your loved ones proud. I ask you not to forget that you always have a choice. Don't be afraid to make it. And to remember that you are all good people. And because of that, you will make this world better for those who will sit in your places in the future. Congratulations! Thank you.
I now have the great pleasure and honor to confer the degree of Doctor of Humane Letters on 4 remarkable individuals. May I please ask the University Provost, Professor Muhammad Harajli, to join me on stage. In the spirit of our Boldly AUB campaign, all 4 of this year's outstanding honorands are trailblazers who lead, innovate, and serve with great effect in our world today. They've been selected in recognition of their achievements on the global stage and their determination to take the lead in their disciplines to best serve their communities. These honorands are enduring models of engaged citizenship, advancing knowledge and innovation across all boundaries, preserving culture and heritage, and resolutely and unapologetically pursuing excellence in their respective fields. I would like to invite Mrs. Munah Rawi to the rostrum. Former First Lady Munah Rawi has spent decades of her life reminding the world of what really matters the most: humankind, all of humankind. She is a humanitarian, activist, and inspiring public speaker who has put women and children at the core of development efforts and continues to promote education, public health, and human rights in Lebanon and the region. Munah Rawi is the founder and president of the Lebanese Chronic Care Center, and the founder of both the National Heritage Foundation and the Lebanese Permanent Committee of Coordination, and an award-winning member of several national and international associations. Please join me in welcoming Dr. Mrs. Munah Rawi to the AUB family as she receives the university's honorary doctorate. Munah Rawi, by virtue of the authority vested in me by the Board of Trustees and my fast-on-the-draw provost, I hereby confer upon you the degree of Doctor of Humane Letters with all the rights, privileges, and responsibilities pertaining thereto. Mrs. Rawi, your stage.
Don't worry, it's going to be very short. I'm not going to take your place because it's your day. Mr. President, AUB trustees, alumni, and faculty, I'm very touched and grateful for this honorable degree And thank you for including me in the great company of 3 Arab luminaries. Huda Akil, Ahdaf Swaif, Simon Shaheen. I wish continuous vigor to what you greatly contribute to our world. Dear President Khoury, thank you for acknowledging my contributions to society and believing in the value of my work. The years of strife that we lived in Lebanon brought the best out of me. It would not have been happened without my husband, President Ilyas Sahrawi, empowering me. It would not have happened without the Lebanese people inspiring me. My public involvement facilitated addressing the urgent humanitarian issues during and post-Civil War. My commitment emanated from my heart. I believe in human rights and that all people are equal in the eyes of God. This is why I determined to help the less privileged. They have the right to live decently in our society, in parallel to supporting children with chronic diseases, type 1 diabetes, and thalassemia. I focused on improving the state of Lebanese women and safeguarding our national heritage. I did it with the invaluable help of many great persons. Today, on June 2nd, 2017, I would like to dedicate this honorable degree to my late husband, Ilyas, my family, especially my daughter, Zalfa, my son, Roland, and my team at the Chronic Care Center. Dear graduates, I would like to salute the parents and families who facilitated the means for you to attain higher education from a prestigious university like AUB. I would also like to express my strong admiration for those among you who managed to attain this goal through priceless sacrifices and countless efforts. You are the future of your country. I do hope that part of your skills will invest in improving the state of humanity. My congratulations to you and to your proud families. As to me, this honorable degree empowers me even more to persevere in my contributions to Lebanon's well-being. I will continue walking through that path for as long as my health permits. Thank you very much.
I would like to now invite Simon Shaheen to the rostrum. Mr. Provost, you can stay here, but don't give them the award too quickly. One of the most significant Arab musicians and performers of his generation, Simon Shaheen is a world maestro in oud and in violin. He is the winner of multiple international awards for his original creations of unique world music and is a renowned leader of music ensemble. He has released 7 albums and contributed selections to soundtracks for movies, theatrical performances, and documentaries. His composition, Blue Flame alone, was nominated for 11 Grammy Awards. Simon is professor of music at the Berklee College of Music in Boston and continues to captivate the world with his ingenuity through regular international festivals. He will be honoring us with a special violin performance this evening. It is a true honor to AUB to recognize the illustrious virtuoso Simon Shaheen, only the second musician that we have honored in the last 50 years. Okay, Mr. Provost, not quite yet. Simon Shaheen, by virtue of the authority vested in me by the Board of Trustees, I hereby confer upon you the degree of Doctor of Humane Letters with all the rights, privileges, and responsibilities pertaining thereto. Please hood the candidate. Oh, you've already hooded the candidate. That's what happens when you have an engineer for a provost.
I just want to say a few words and then perform for you. Good evening. I'm always delighted to be in Beirut, but today I'm especially honored to stand before you, before the class of 2017, and deeply grateful to AUB for including me in such an important occasion. Congratulations, graduates. Today is a terrific milestone for you and your families. As graduates of this esteemed and historic university, you will always represent and proudly uphold the reputation of the American University of Beirut, wherever you go and whatever path you take in life. AUB is proud of your hard work and accomplishments, and you graduates should be very proud of yourselves. Today is your day to celebrate, and I am deeply moved to be here with you. Since its founding in 1866, AUB has had a significant impact on the region and the world. The university has produced scientists, engineers, medical doctors, entrepreneurs, academicians, and graduates in many other areas of specialty. In fact, as a musician who travels constantly around the world, I come across many brilliant and successful people who are graduates of AUB and who are always proud of their affiliation with this amazing institution. Just go to any medical center in Boston, Houston, New York, and you will meet some of the most talented and skillful physicians. And who are they? AUB graduates. So to all of you new graduates, go out, carry on, build your lives, and become a part of this university's astonishing legacy. But always remember that your future success gives you the opportunity to advance your own culture, particularly in the arts and music. One of my closest friends, Dr. Ghalib Daouk, is an AUB graduate. He's a wonderful role model, not only as a renowned nephrologist, but as a philanthropist who is an avid supporter of arts and culture. His dedication as both a doctor and philanthropist has always inspired me. Today's world is far more complicated than it was when I was graduating from college. As an established musician, composer, producer, and organizer, I have done a tremendous amount of work throughout my career to build bridges between cultures through my music. I hope that each and every one of you uses your unique talents and your education to build your own bridges. Several years ago, I added the role of professor to my other responsibilities when I began teaching at the Berklee College of Music in Boston. During my years at Berklee, I have witnessed the sensational success of many of my graduates in the advancement of music making in all its forms: performance, composition, music education, music therapy, music business, film scoring, and others. Their success has inspired me to think about carrying their educational model to Lebanon. I have to admit that from the moment I received the letter about being honored with this tremendous award, I have been envisioning the launching of a full-fledged music department at AUB. A versatile, comprehensive, and diverse department that could define the future of music making and also enhance the music industry in Lebanon and the whole region. But back to you, graduates. Today marks the end of your college days and the beginning of something new and exciting. I encourage everyone here to be brave, bold, and fearless, and this might be your defining moment. Congratulations. I wish all of you a brilliant future, and I would like to thank AUB once again for bestowing me with this tremendous honor. I delivered my words, and now I would like to deliver the musical notes. Should I? I don't hear you. Should I? Yes. Now, I just want to say, I ask for permission to remove the cap in order to play on the violin. Otherwise, I'm not sure if the sound will be balanced. So, permit me.
As the man said, I didn't hear you. I would like to now invite Ahdaf Swaif to step forward. Ahdaf Swaif is one of the most prominent and influential Egyptian writers of our time. Her best-selling novel, The Map of Love, has sold over 1.5 million copies and was a finalist for the Man Booker Prize in 1999. Following the Egyptian uprising of 2011, she became a witness to history, publishing 2 books and numerous articles on the Tahrir Square demonstrations and their aftermath. Never one to hide behind her pen, she helped found the Palestine Festival of Literature in 2008 and is an activist for many political and cultural causes. She has written with eloquence, with candor, and with conviction about the experience of being a woman, Arab, Egyptian, Muslim, foreigner, and revolutionary, thus giving voice to the voiceless and speaking truth to unimaginable power. Ahdaf Swaif, by virtue of the authority vested in me by the Board of Trustees, I hereby confer upon you the degree of Doctor of Humane Letters with all the rights, privileges, and responsibilities pertaining thereto. Now you may hood her.
Thank you so much. Although I feel it's somewhat unfair to have to follow on from Simon Shaheen and his music, really. But here we are, and I'll do my best. So, Mr. President, trustees and faculty, students and friends, ladies and gentlemen. مساء الخير والسلام عليكم ويا مرحب. وسعيدة جدا بوجودي معاكم وفي وسطكم النهارده. Thank you. Thank you. Today is a day of celebration when many hundreds of you graduates go out into the world. And I wish you exceedingly well. I've been watching you throughout the last bit when I've been sitting up here, and it's been a pleasure. You're going out into a world where you will need to make a difference. And graduating from AUB, you are excellently equipped to do so. In the last 2 decades, we have seen violence expanding, populations impoverished and terrorized, the earth itself depleted. We've seen the ethnic cleansing of Palestine intensify, the torment of Syria, Iraq, Libya, Yemen, the epic and perilous exodus across the Mediterranean, the current triumph of the counter-revolutions in the Arab world, the rise of Daesh and its affiliates, and its beloved enemies, East and West. The battle is always about resources, but a modern manifestation of it is an insistence on pinning people down into single, simplified identities, and then penning them into homogenized and controlled spaces. And yet, the ferocity and sheer brutishness of all this is an indication of the power of the groundswell in the world that seeks to reclaim and indeed to save the world. For we have lived the Arab revolutions, and we've seen the world take them to its heart. We see the just cause and the grace and resilience of the Palestinian people capture the imagination and the goodwill of the world. And we see large portions of civil society across the world stand up for the migrant and for the poor. A world community is being formed, and this is where you, AUB graduates, will take your place. This is not a battle between East and West, or young and old, black and rich, or black and white, or rich and poor, secular and pious, or even between left and right. This is a battle between those who want a decent life for everyone and life itself, or life in abundance for the planet, and those who can only comprehend narrow interests. Between those who are happy to pick and choose from among ideas to create a mix that works, comfortable with the knowledge that the only constant is change, happy to be always becoming, and those who have solidified into dogma of whatever color. Lebanon, this beautiful, varied, edgy, energetic country, holds a great many lessons for all of us. Its story, as with the best narratives, is often terrifying, but ultimately uplifting. And AUB itself is an inspiration, growing, changing, excelling, despite, or perhaps because of, contradictions and fault lines, maneuvering, knowing when to batten down and when to blossom out. A model of the university as part of civil society, engaged with it, working for it, drawing energy from it, and serving it. This was so clear from the message of your president and also from the activities of this university for the last few days, from the spectacular student-led AUB Outdoors to hosting the Environmate Hackathon, to the conference just yesterday discussing how to ameliorate the effects of civil conflict on the social structures of Syria, to your known engagement with issues of public health. I offer my congratulations on your graduation and also on your belonging to an institution that treasures and respects its young people, that recognizes your potential and helps you fulfill it, and that is now sending you out into the world with a top academic qualification and also with a clear direction towards social engagement. I'm profoundly grateful that by granting me this honor today with my 3 fellow honorees, you also grant me the privilege of thinking of myself as one of you. Thank you. Thank you.
I'm watching you. I now invite Dr. Huda Ail to step forward. Throughout her brilliant career, Huda Ail has produced groundbreaking research on the neurobiology of emotions. As a child growing up in Syria, Dr. Ail dreamed of becoming a scientist like Marie Curie. Through the arduous process of scientific research and discovery, she has realized this bold ambition and is now one of the most highly cited neuroscientists in the world. And it all started at AUB. Huda Ail is the Gardner-Quarton Distinguished University Professor of Neuroscience and Psychiatry at the University of Michigan, and is the co-director of the Molecular and Behavioral Neuroscience Institute there. Through her extraordinary scientific innovations, Ail has offered hope for millions suffering from pain, stress, depression, and substance abuse, and is making a profound and lasting impact on the world. Huda Ail, by virtue of the authority vested in me by the Board of Trustees, I hereby confer upon you the degree of Doctor of Humane Letters with all the rights, privileges, and responsibilities pertaining thereto.
President Khoury and AUB trustees, thank you. Thank you to my family, and thank you to my students. This really belongs to you. And I am incredibly honored to be sharing this event with 3 amazing honorees. actually truly humbling to be sharing the stage with them. And especially to the graduating class of 2017 and your families, my heartfelt congratulations to each of you. Today you are receiving an amazing gift, and I hope it feels wonderful. I'm thrilled to be sharing this very special day with all of you. For me, this is beyond wonderful. Receiving an honorary doctorate from AUB is the greatest honor of my life. AUB is an institution I love, an institution that has transformed my world and that of my entire family. It started 80 years ago, in 1937, when a young man by the name of Fakhr Aqil, born in a tiny Syrian village near the Turkish border, was attending a French high school in Aleppo. Being at the top of his class, he was interviewed by an AUB recruiter and was all but promised admission to AUB. So he was deeply dismayed when he lost out to someone who had better connections. His sense of outrage led him to write an impassioned letter to the Syrian Minister of Higher Education. He received no answer, of course, and he went on to enroll in medical school at the University of Damascus. A year later, after a particularly rough chemistry final, he was leaving the university heading home when he heard the newspaper boy shouting that the evening edition carried the results of the AUB student selection. So it used to make the newspapers in Damascus. He bought the paper and he was shocked to see his name right on the list. It turns out that the Minister of Education had been impressed by his letter and had looked up his track record, had revived his application, and had recommended him for a full scholarship to AUB. This lucky young man was my father, who received a BA and an MA from AUB, and that led him to a PhD at University College in London in psychology. And that led to a distinguished career during which he strove to make psychological thought part of mainstream Arab culture. Like my father, I received a scholarship to study at AUB, and this education opened the world to me, allowing me to pursue my dreams of becoming a scientist studying the workings of the brain. I tell you this story because it encapsulates several ideas I hope to convey. First, to underscore the profound, transformative influence of this university on so many people from so many walks of life over so many decades. The other is the power of small acts, like my father's letter, standing up for himself to express outrage at injustice, even when it seemed futile. And most importantly, the power of generosity, the selfless way this minister intervened at the right moment and changed somebody's life. Each of us is probably here in this happy place due to a series of small miracles that have shaped our lives. And I hope we can take a moment to simply be grateful and joyful. Do you feel it? As I look back and you look forward, the parent in me hopes you feel this great lift that joy can bring. And the neuroscientist in me wonders, how does that happen? What just went on in your brain when you felt joy? This thinking is automatic for me since I study the brain biology of emotions and moods. Over the years, I've tried to understand how we feel pain, cope with stress, develop addictions, succumb to chronic depression. I find it endlessly fascinating to study why we are each different in the way we react and cope, to contemplate the positive power that emotions have in our lives, but also the price that we pay for when they become overwhelming and dysfunctional. Sadly, like many of my colleagues here have said, we live in times where emotions are running high, and most are not positive. Anger is rising, hatred is blooming, beliefs are narrowing, tolerance is fading. It's a vicious cycle where negativity feeds upon itself to grow ever more powerful. Indeed, this is a devastating moment in the history of my country, Syria, and a profoundly challenging moment for anybody who hails from this region. The feeling of helplessness and hopelessness can be overwhelming, and the thought of what's happening to the children is often unbearable. But I hang on to this idea that we each have within us a great resource that we can deploy in the face of darkness. Something that no one teaches us explicitly, and yet is critical to our survival. It's the art of fighting the odds and emerging not only whole, but triumphant and joyful. I call it active resilience. It doesn't mean lack of vulnerability or insensitivity to stress, fear, or pain. Rather, active resilience enables vulnerable people to use internal resources to cope with stress, bounce back, and become much stronger. Knowing that you have this ability within you reshapes your entire outlook, makes you optimistic, confident, and hopeful. The recovery of Lebanon after its long civil war is a manifestation of remarkable resilience. Active resilience is the courage of people carrying on with their lives amongst the wreckage in Syria, refugees who are finding a new path in spite of total dislocation. It's the daily heroic efforts of medical personnel and field workers on the ground who are saving lives under horrendous conditions. Active resilience is also your secret weapon as you embark on a new phase of life, when you're trying to redefine yourselves, balance multiple desires, fantasies, realities, hoping to fulfill yourself while considering others in an uncertain and complex world. The great news is that the concept is not just theoretical, it is biological. We have mechanisms within our brains to develop resilience. Our work in this area began by looking at the brains of people who had died with severe depression. We asked broadly, what genes show the most disrupted activity in the brains of depressed people compared to those who were not depressed? And the answer really surprised us. We discovered that the most disrupted genes in depression are growth factors, genes involved in brain growth and remodeling. We came to realize that depressed people lose the power to remodel their brains. And this is devastating because brain remodeling is essential. We are constantly rewiring our brains based on past experience and future expectations. This process, called neuroplasticity, is biological landscaping, literally reshaping the brain as we grow new connections that we need and prune the ones that we don't need, with growth factors acting like fertilizers. This research led us to discover that a growth factor called FGF2 is our own natural antidepressant that we have in our brain. It's our own natural resilience factor, and it's slow in depressed people. For instance, if we give FGF2 once, the day after birth, to a baby animal who is genetically prone to depression, it makes that animal less vulnerable for the rest of its life. So how do we harness this wonderful biology that we have within us? My answer is threefold: a rich and socially supportive environment, something I call emotional algebra, and looking beyond ourselves. A stimulating environment activates growth factors, allowing animals to exercise and play with toys raises their FGF2 levels and other growth factors. It accelerates the birth of new cells in certain brain areas. It makes them less anxious. For us, a rich environment can be a great education, challenging work, travel, exercise, having fun, and having meaning human interactions. Importantly, social support is a critical factor for brain remodeling. Highly vulnerable creatures are particularly sensitive to social support, which buffers them against stress. A baby mouse shows a drop in stress hormones if we give it just a whiff, a smell of its mother's odor on a piece of cotton. Social support is a great asset in this part of the world because families care, people are aware of each other, they pay attention, and the right dose of social support at the right moment is incredibly powerful. Secondly, emotional algebra, by which I mean the art of balancing positive and negative emotions so that the positive predominates. Part of brain remodeling is really to redefine expectations of what is rewarding and what is stressful. This starts by doing our homework to know ourselves. I believe there is a core to each of us that demands that we pay attention to it. I define happiness as recognizing and embracing the self, finding a path in life that is consistent with it, achieving harmony between who we are and how we live our life. This knowledge lets us manage our emotions, allows us to take charge of our lives, stand up for ourselves the way my father did. It gives us permission to take risks that can be transformative and to have fun doing it. It helps to remember that there's a very big difference between failing and being a failure. In science, we learn to fail. We're often wrong and we don't really know what we're doing. The spirit of adventure can be humbling as we head into the unknown. But it turns out that a track record of failing, swallowing a dose of humility, but surviving to tell the tale is rather liberating. It's actually fun. You discover that it's okay to be wrong, to acknowledge it, to learn from it, and to build from there. I hope that through this process of self-knowledge, you can hold on to your spirit of adventure and wonderment, that you will continue to be surprised and thrilled as you discover all there is to discover about life, that you retain the belief that something cool, maybe something amazing, is around the corner. This is the essence of being hopeful, of staying young, and it carries its own wisdom. And thirdly, looking beyond ourselves. None of us live in a bubble. We live in a context that matters to our sense of self and to our humanity. Social support is a two-way street, and part of active resilience is to reach beyond ourselves to help others. Many of my colleagues talked about that. We can support our kids, especially those living in traumatic conditions, to endow them with greater inner strength. We can support their families as children absorb their emotions from parents. And the best support in stressful and unpredictable times goes beyond providing fundamentals such as food, water, shelter, and healthcare. It involves giving people some control over what happens in their immediate environment, a way to manage their own emotional algebra. There is nothing more stressful than loss of control and lack of predictability. When the sky is falling and the universe is mad, the ability to effect even a little bit of change in your surroundings is amazingly important. Why? Because it makes you feel empowered. It tells you that bigger change is possible. It gives you hope. Hope needs to be palpable and manifest in some real positive change. Hope is delicate and has to be kept alive. It can only be sustained if all of us, but especially you, the talented young people, are engaged, if you do not ignore the suffering of others, if you fight for humanity in all its manifestations with whatever tools you have. Think about it. You have the power of youth, the power of a stellar higher education, the power of connections. You can choose to deploy your power not only for your own good, but to help those who are less powerful. Your efforts need not be fancy. They simply need to be authentic. They need to engage and empower those you're trying to help. In this way, you will become the creators of small miracles that transform lives. Magically, your generous behavior will be contagious. It will spread and inspire others to do the same. And here is the final bonus. Being engaged is not only the right thing to do, it's good for your brain. It will increase your own growth factors and shore up your own active resilience. It is the joyful and uplifting thing to do. It elevates you from the ordinary to the extraordinary. Carl Jung said, "The privilege of a lifetime is to become who you truly are." I interpret this to mean becoming the best version of you. That's my hope for you, and through you, it is my hope for a better world. Thank you.
May I invite the four honorands to come for a photograph together, please. بدنا نروح لا بدنا
It's better. I see. We can put two men.
The men should be on this side. I think so.
Mr. President, recommendations for degrees to be conferred today have already been made by the various faculties and schools of the university. In accordance with established procedures, the candidates who have satisfactorily completed all the requirements and are deemed worthy by the University Senate to be awarded degrees will now be presented to you by their respective deans or directors. President Khouri, I call upon you to confer the degrees.
May I invite the Dean of the Faculty of Arts and Sciences, Dr. Nadia Al-Sheikh.
Mr. President, as Dean of the Faculty of Arts and Sciences, and on behalf of my colleagues on the faculty, I have the honor to present to you the candidates for the degree of Doctor of Philosophy, Master of Arts, Master of Science, Master of Arts in Financial Economics, and Master of Science in Environmental Sciences. Will all candidates please rise?
By virtue of the authority vested in me by the Board of Trustees, I hereby confer upon you the degrees for which you have completed all the requirements and express the hope that your learning will lead you to advance knowledge in or enrich the practice of your chosen field.
I now call upon the graduates from the Faculty of Arts and Sciences to come to the stage.
Candidates for the degree of Doctor of Philosophy in Cell and Molecular Biology. Farah Jihad Nassar. Candidates Candidates for the degree of Master of Arts. Rami Jawdat Abi Juma. Yasmin Abdul Min'am Abu Taha. Ruba Jihad Ajib. Muna Muhammad Akra. Fida Mahir Alam الدين. غيا عادل البردان. رنا بشير البزري. ليا جورج بوفاضل. رينا كميل بوغانم. يارا محمد دمج. هديل جهاد دبيبو. ماريلين اسكاركوفا. رزان محمد فرحات. زينب جميل فواز. بريتني كريستين فراي. أما غالب غصن. سولان لويس الحاج. لمير علي لمير صبحي حرفوش. مارك عبود حايك. ماريا حنا الحلو. صفاء إسماعيل إبراهيم. مريم سيلوني ميشيل إليوفيتس. ألين أجوب اسكندر بابا. كارلا ماريا عيسى. فاطمة يوسف قاروت. سميرة محمد مكي. لارا سمير المكاوي. ريما رضوان المقداد. كريستين إبراهيم مكرزل. يرفانت بوغوس نسيميان. سامية زياد رشيد. سماح محمد سالم. هند منير السنيورة.
I think you need to just slow down. So you're gotten ahead of us. We have a traffic jam here.
5 seconds. I think 5 is too little. 5 is too little. 10. 10. 10 هيوصل. دانا توفيق سرحال. فرح محمد جمال الشامي. نهى سليم شهاب. فرح خليل طه. فرح رضوان طعمي. كيفورك جان ونسيان. ريم هاني وهبي. Candidates for the degree of Master of Science. مريم عباس الأخضر. هلا ميشيل عطلة. فريدريك مايكل البايع. لورانس وسام شمس الدين. منال معين شكر. رنيم حسام ضو. ميرا عبد دياب الحركي. الفيرا الياس ديبو. جيال رزق الله جبريال. ربيع عبد السلام حيدر. زينب حسن حراجلي. كريم أسامة حوري. كريستينا سعد جلخ. فرح محمد قنبر. سلوى لطفي قبيسي. دانا رشيد المعلوف. نارين ستراك مردي روسيان. نشتي هاروت مخسيان. نيكول جورج رعد. عفاف راجي صليبة. أنترانيك أوديس سافيليان. سارة عماد سوسي. لما حنة النوري. فرح علي ياسين. Candidates for the degree of Master of Arts in Financial Economics. ديالا غسان محفوظ. أمل فادي الرفاعي. This concludes the candidates of Arts and Sciences.
As Dean of the Faculty of Medicine, and on behalf of my colleagues on the faculty, I have the honor to present to you the candidates for the degree of Doctor of Philosophy in Biomedical Sciences, Doctor of Medicine, and Masters of Science. As Dean of the Faculty of Medicine, will the students awardee the degree of Doctor of Medicine please rise? In our profession, it is a custom established more than 2,000 years ago that all those admitted to the honors of the profession must firstly expressly take upon themselves its obligations. Now, therefore, on behalf of your elders, I call upon you to take, as we have taken before you, the oath which bears the name of Hippocrates. I shall read to you the pledge, after which you will be asked to signify your acceptance of it. Will the faculty members of the Faculty of Medicine please rise? In the spirit of Hippocrates, I do solemnly pledge before my teachers and all those present to be true to this oath. I will be loyal to the ideals of the profession of medicine and its tradition of service to all human beings. I will care for my fellow human beings with compassion, empathy, and kindness. I will follow that treatment which, according to my ability and judgment, I consider for the benefit of patients while respecting their choice and beliefs. I will abstain from whatever is deleterious or mischievous and will not perform any medical procedures for criminal purposes. In the presence of epidemics or other danger, I will not allow fear or concern for personal harm to turn me from my duty. Whatever I see or hear in the lives of people which ought not to be spoken abroad, I will keep secret. All my professional acts shall be for the benefit of the sick to the utmost of my power, holding myself aloof from any act of corruption or discrimination. In purity and uprightness, I will pass my life and practice my art. While I continue to keep this oath inviolate, may it be granted to me to enjoy life and the practice of the art, respected by people at all times. Do you so promise? In keeping of this pledge, may each one of you granted a long life of service and the privilege of honoring the profession which today honors you. Will my colleagues of the faculty please be seated?
By virtue of the authority vested in me by the Board of Trustees, I hereby confer upon you the degrees for which you have completed all the requirements and express the hope that your learning will lead you to advance knowledge in or enrich the practice of your chosen field.
It is my distinguished pleasure this year to announce that we will graduate the first PhD candidate in biomedical sciences after being suspended since 1987. I now call upon the graduate from the Faculty of Medicine to come to the stage. The first graduates will be the recipient of the Penrose Award from the Faculty of Medicine for 2017. Will Savo Abu Zainuddin and Katia Kristin Ginadri please come to the stage? I want to call upon the candidate for the PhD degree.
Candidate for the degree of Doctor of Philosophy in Biomedical Sciences, Crystal Malik Ghantous. Candidates for the degree of Doctor of Medicine: هاشم يحيى عبد القادر، رشا محمد أبي ملحم، جاد مروان الأبيض، عدنان رضوان الأشقر، بارور مانويل أجيميان، جمال خالد العلي، فاطمة بهيج علاو، إدوار أنطوان العم، أحمد هشام سيف الدين عموس، حسام هشام العريضي، طارق نديم العريس، خوسيه مانويل عيسى الأسمر، كارل رينيه أسمر، مارغريتا سمعان الأسمر with distinction، إوجيني عبدو عطلة، جاكلين جان عطلة، مروة مروان بعلبكي، عمر زياد بابا، أندرو فرحان بركات، عامر حسام بشناق، نور محمد بيضون with distinction، عبد الله فؤاد البزري، باسل فادي بودرغم، باتريك جوزيف بوسمرة، فانيسا جورج بوسليمان، رواد سليمان شلهوب، أنطوان يوسف الشامي، جوزيف جرجس شعيب، لودي نيكولا شحادة، إلين خليل دبوس، عليا عبد القادر ضاني، جنى أسامة دبيبو، لينا مصطفى دغيلي، جوزيف جان ليس، جوني إلي فارس، دانيال ناجي فياض، ليا إلي فياض، أنتوني جورج غانم، أمال علي الغرمتي، راين بديع الغصيني with distinction، ناتاشا توني الهبر، كريم وليد حجار with distinction، جيسيكا يسرى مروان الحلبي، كارين أدونيس الحلبي، نور محمد حلاوي، كميل زياد حنا، جنى رجائي الحسني، سامر عاطف الحايك، عيسى أنطوان هندي with distinction، محمد ناجي حسني، محمد رشيد عيسى، آية سعد الدين عيتاني، كاتيا وهيب الجردي، أحمد نادر قاسم، زينب رفيق قاسم، نسرين عماد الكوا، جوانا خليل خليل with distinction، كارينيا جوني الخوري، نادين بلال كبي، محمد كريم إبراهيم ليلات، ليال عماد الدين المحمصاني، ألكسندر جابي مطر، سارة ماريا لطف الله مفرج، كريستوفر منصور المحير، رامي رمزي نعمان، أمين حسن نصار with distinction، روان غسان نصار، فرح برانلي نصور، ماري جو جون عبيد with distinction، عمر خالد عثمان، دانا غسان العويني، رشا نواف رسلان with distinction، أحمد محمد أمين الرازم، روبن ميلاد رزق، لؤي يحيى الرجولة، لما بسمة أسامة رستم، زين موفق سعد الدين، ليان سميرة كمال صدر، نسرين أنايس نزار الصلوخ، سامية خالد السيد، رالف بشارة السبعلي، سامي كمال شيا، نادر عدنان السوقي، رامي محمود سروجي، كارلا عزيز اسطفان with distinction، حياة حسن الطبش، سعيد سمير طراف، بول أنطوان التوم، Brahim George Solakian. Cesar Albert Yazbek. محمد Brahim Zalzali. Mariel Youssef Zouqi. Candidates for the degree of Master of Science. Arpa Agob Ain Tablian. Makram Jamil Ammouri. Farah Youssef Shaitli. Pamela George Jinno. Mary Adib Haddad. Garin Paul Ara Haidosian. Hadi Malik Hussein. Dana Muhammad Itani. وديان علي جمعة. مريم سمير ميعاري. نور علي شري. كنان غالب زينو. Candidate for the degree of Master of Science in Health Research, Lias Fauzi Ghusoub.
Mr. President, as Director of the Hariri School of Nursing and on behalf of my colleagues, the members of the faculty of the school, I have the honor to present to you the candidates for the degree of Master of Science in Nursing. Will all candidates please rise?
By virtue of the authority vested in me by the Board of Trustees, I hereby confer upon you the degree of Master of Science in Nursing and express the hope that your learning will lead you to advanced knowledge in or enrich the practice of your chosen field.
I now call upon the candidates of the Hariri School of Nursing to come to the stage.
لينا جهاد الأحمدية. آلاء حسين عواد. ريان حسين الشيخ. فاطمة شريف شريف. ليندا حسن السيد سليمان هاشم. مريم كميل السبع. فيكتوريا جابي سمعان. وفاء عبد الله سكاف. سهام جوزيف سليمان.
Mr. President, as Dean of the Maroon Saman Faculty of Engineering and Architecture, and on behalf of my colleagues on the faculty, I have the honor and pleasure to present to you the candidates for the degree of Doctor of Philosophy in Civil Engineering, Doctor of Philosophy in Electrical and Computer Engineering, Doctor of Philosophy in Mechanical Engineering, Doctor of Philosophy in Environmental and Water Resources Engineering, the degree of Master of Engineering with the majors in Applied Energy, Civil Engineering, Electrical and Computer Engineering, Environmental and Water Resources Engineering, and Mechanical Engineering, the degree of Master of Engineering Management, Master of Science in Chemical Engineering, in Energy Studies, and in Environmental Sciences, Master of Urban Design, and Master of Urban Planning and Policy. Will all candidates please rise?
By virtue of the authority vested in me by the Board of Trustees, I hereby confer upon you the degrees for which you have completed all the requirements and express the hope that your learning will lead you to advance knowledge in or enrich the practice of your chosen field.
I now call upon the graduates from the Maroon Saman Faculty of Engineering and Architecture to come to the stage.
Candidates for the degree of Doctor of Philosophy in Civil Engineering, Malak Jalal Hattab. نجوى فرحان هاني. دانا إلي نصر. وائل غسان سليقة. Candidates for the degree of Doctor of Philosophy in Electrical and Computer Engineering, Nadine Fawaz Abbas. أطلال محمد الأسعد. رامي جورج بالي. Candidates for the degree of Doctor of Philosophy in Environmental and Water Resources Engineering, Rola Muhammad Taysir Yusuf Qubba. رينالدا سميح السمرة. Candidate for the degree of Doctor of Philosophy in Mechanical Engineering, Nagam Bilal Ismail. Candidates for the degree of Master of Engineering, Georgie Abdallah Ajaiye, Amal Muhammad Asad, Zuhair Ali Haj Sulaiman, Hussein Hassan Ahmedi, Nasser Asad Al-Hassaniye, عمر بدري حاطوم، هديل قاسم حجازي، محمد عماد عيتاني، فرح إبراهيم جعفر، علي أدهم جابر، سارة أحمد جلال الدين، هبة محمد قبيسي، ساج رمزي مغبغب، بهاء الدين أسامة منيمني، محمد علي قاسم نجم، عمر عامر الرافعي، جوناثان مارون السويدي، ليلى منير طيارة طبارة، هادي محمد تقي، أمين علي وهب. Candidates for the degree of Master of Science, Ramona Michelle Badr, Philippe Amir Ihsan Sheet, Roy Roosevelt George Fattouh, أيمن محمد حجازي، فؤاد جونيور نعمان مقصود، علياء حسين صبرة، سدرة محمد رشدي صلاحية، طارق أكرم طباجة، ريم طرماح يحفوفي، جورج إلي يارد. Candidates for the degree of Master of Engineering Management, Varteni Mardiros Aramali, جوني إلي جميل، ماهر بسام الغلييني، جميل محمد خير حمية، أورليكا زيدان موسى، إلي كريم الصليبي، محمد ماجد يتيم، candidates for the degree of Master of Science in Environmental Sciences, major Environmental Technology. Maria George Saidi, Hussein Muhammad Sulaiman, candidates for the degree of Master of Urban Design, Sandy Ghassan Sabsabi, candidate for the degree of Master of Urban Planning and Policy, Yara Marwan Ahmedi. This concludes the list of candidates of the Maroon Samaan Faculty of Engineering and Architecture.
Mr. President, as Dean of the Faculty of Agricultural and Food Sciences, and on behalf of my colleagues on the faculty, I have the honor to present to you the candidates for the degree of Master of Science with majors in Food Technology, Nutrition, Animal Science, Plant Science, Poultry Science, Rural Community Development, and Master of Science in Environmental Sciences, major Ecosystem Management. Will all candidates please rise?
By virtue of the authority vested in me by the Board of Trustees, I hereby confer upon you the degrees for which you have completed all the requirements and express the hope that your learning will lead you to advance knowledge in or enrich the practice of your chosen field.
I now call upon the graduates from the Faculty of Agricultural and Food Sciences to come to the stage.
Candidates for the degree of Master of Science, Lina Omar Abdouni, فرح حافظ أبي مصلح، وجيهة محمد بابا، ليا روجيه بدور، يارا سمير بي، مروة حسن دياب الحركة، سوزان سمير فرج، ملاك محمود إسماعيل، لين محمد قليلات، غسان غيث محمود، محمد رشيد مرتضى، ماري إليزابيث إلياس راجي، ساندرا عدنان يوسف، أهلا وسهلا، طالة صبحي زين، candidate for the degree of Master of Science in Environmental Sciences, major Ecosystem Management, لياس ناصر القرعان.
Mr. President, as Dean of the Faculty of Health Sciences, and on behalf of my colleagues on the faculty, I have the honor to present to you the candidates for the degree of Master of Public Health, Master of Science in Epidemiology, Master of Science in Environmental Sciences, major in Environmental Health, and Executive Master in Healthcare Leadership. Will all candidates please rise?
By virtue of the authority vested in me by the Board of Trustees, I hereby confer upon you the degrees for which you have completed all the requirements and express the hope that your learning will lead you to advance knowledge in or enrich the practice of your chosen field.
I now call upon the graduates from the Faculty of Health Sciences to come to the stage.
Candidates for the degree of Master of Public Health: Fida Fadi Abu Hassan, Muhammad Amin Adam Adel, Rosanne Hrant Agayon, إسراء مزامل أحمد البخاري، محمد عطية سليمان أحمد، آلاء قاسم العكاوي، أحمد قاسم محمد خالد علي، نور عبد الحفيظ الأرناؤوط، نورهان سلامة عبد القادر بدر، خديجة بابيكر بدري، إليز عزيز بركات، زينب وحيد بزي، إبراهيم راغب بوعرم، نور جمال البخاري، رانيا نشأت بزاع، رنا فؤاد شهاب، فرح بشار دمشقية، زينب محمد الديراني، ماري روز نازاريت دوشويان، كارين جورج دوميت، ياسمين طليع فريج، نيكول جولي فونتاس، ريم أحمد الحاج، عبير يوسف الحلبي، آية سهيل حمود، هالة رياض حويلي، آمنة بسام الحركي، سارة وليد حرب، ميرفت سلمان حسن زين الدين، رانيا إبراهيم الحواط سوايا، بشرى الياس الحايك، نادين غالب هلال، لما يوسف الهشي، نور سهيل جابر شهاب، موسى علي جابر، كارلا ويكن جاكاريان، دعاء خضر كمال، أدمن ودم كنميكي، عاصم محمد عبد المعطي خميس، ريتا جابي معلوف، فرح شوقي ماضي، ميشيل جاك منصور، يلا. ساندرا باردي أرسان مراديون، عليا جاسم محمد، يسرى محمود عباس محمد، أفلين نمو وونجي، زينب أحمد رحال، رانيا رغدان رملاوي، فرح علي سبيتي، انعام عبد الكريم التنير، كيان جرابات تشيجيون، ليا أنيس زينون. Candidate for the degree of Master of Science in Epidemiology, خليل هشام أبو بكر كريدي، كارلا أنطوان عيراني، مجدي محجوب إدريس محمد، آية محمود نوباني، رشا سامي سعيد. Candidates for the degree of Executive Master in Healthcare Leadership, مروة سعد عباس الخفاجي، سيروب هاروتيون أوهانيان. Candidate for the degree of Master of Science in Environmental Sciences, Major Environmental Health, طارق فايز أبو عمر. الأميرة سارة الأمير نبيل شهاب، مبروك.
Mr. President, as Dean of the Solomon S. Olayan School of Business, and on behalf of my colleagues who are members of the faculty of the school, I have the honor to present to you candidates for the degree of Masters in Human Resource Management, Masters in Finance, Masters of Business Administration, and Executive Masters of Business Administration. Will all candidates please rise?
By virtue of the authority vested in me by the Board of Trustees, I hereby confer upon you the degrees for which you've completed all the requirements and express the hope that your learning will lead you to advance knowledge in or enrich the practice of your chosen field.
I now call upon the graduates from the Solomon S. Olayan School of Business to come to the stage.
Candidates for the degree of Master in Finance, Jana Bashir Al-Ali. Zepur Ohans Arakelian. Yara Sami Atiyi. Jad Riyad Bashir. Mustafa Fuad Bizri. Tracy Joseph Shamroun. Chantal Faraj Sheikh. Layal Muhammad Munzir Dahrouj. Aya Muhammad Ghalayini. Rawan Hassan Ghamlouch. Maryam Haidar Haidar. Leah Nizar Al-Halabi. Layal Hussein Hattab. Ali Hussein Ismail. Makram Nadim Ismail. Dareen Muhammad Jafar. Muhammad Malik Mustafa Al-Jamal. Meher Vaskan Kavlakian. Eliana Muiz Kharrat. Yara Ghattas Mhanna. Serena Sarkis Minasyan. Ali Hassan Muhammad. Nadine Naami Nasr. Jad Anwar Uqaili. Gayal Yes Saur. Eli Claude Yunan. Zena Walid Zbibo. Candidates for the degree of Master in Human Resource Management, Alexandra Alia Kamal Abul Hassan. Ruba Hisham Ashar. Tanya Sarkis Agvorian. Dalal Naji Alemi. Maya Marwan Al-Ayyubi. Mia Claude Shmeli. Rita Najif Ghali. Yasmin Muhammad Itani. Farah Fawaz Itawi. Rula Mahmoud Osman. Layan Ilyes Sarkis. Lamis Tariq Zour. Candidates for the degree of Master of Business Administration, Jad Nicola Berberi. Khalil Muhammad Sharafuddin. Tamara Ismail Shbib Abi Raad. Dima Muhammad Isa. Mira Muhammad Mnemni. Zainab Abdellatif Salah. Ola Nabil Zatari.
Candidates for the degree of Executive Master of Business Administration. باتريك الياس أبو سليبي أنتوني شريوس ألوف بسام ميلاد الأسمر حسن عماد بيدون ليون قربيس دافويان نسرين موفق دمشقية رالف ميشيل فخري رانيا ألبير غنوم جيلبير أنتون الخوري سعد عدنان مجري and last but not least جاد وجدي صعب.
Graduates of the class of 2017, I now have the distinct pleasure of greeting you all for the first time as alumni of the American University of Beirut. The road you have traveled during your years at AUB has certainly been a demanding one, and you are to be congratulated for having successfully met the academic challenges of the oldest and most prestigious university in Lebanon and in the Arab world. Some of you will go on to careers in Lebanon or overseas. Others will continue your education in higher degree programs. Wherever your travels take you, I wish you success in your careers, personal joy in your lives, and peace, health, and fulfillment in your communities. At this point, I would also like to acknowledge the key role that has been played by your families, your parents, your grandparents, your husbands and wives, even your children who have walked this road with you, who have contributed their love, their support, their financial means. Your success is their success as well, and they are here to celebrate with you. So I would like to invite you to turn around and express your appreciation for their constancy and devotion. Will the audience please stay standing for the alma mater of the university?
For
I now declare the awarding of honorary doctorates and commencement exercise at a close. Will the degree recipients and the audience please remain in their places until the President and party have cleared the area? Mr. President, will you and your party please follow me?